We open and close them several times a day in and day out, and seldom give them a second thought. But imagine your home without doors. For one thing, you'd have absolutely no privacy. And what would you slam when you get angry? The first factory makes the doors plywood facing. They start by loading logs into steaming basins for 3 days. This de-ices them in the winter and softens the wood fiber. Inside the factory, the steamed logs line up for the debarker, a machine that removes the bark. The operator projects concentric circles and uses a laser to carefully center the log on the debarker. Positioning is crucial for 2 reasons: so that as little wood as possible comes off with the bark, and to ensure the debarked log ends up perfectly cylindrical. That maximizes the amount of wood veneer a log will yield. The next step is called rotary cutting. As the log spins, a lathe skims off a sheet of wood veneer just 0.6 of a millimeter thick. The average log yields 134 linear meters of veneer. Next, they unroll the veneer and cut it into sheets. Then they stack the sheets by identical grain patterns. Using a laser to position the blade, they cut through the stack to take out visual defects. Then they glue the pieces together. To make veneer sheets for the front of the plywood door facing, the side that will show, they line up the wood's grain and other features in mirror image. For the back, the side that won't show, they assemble the defective parts they cut out earlier. They use 3 veneer sheets to make up the plywood door facing. They apply glue to both sides of one sheet, then sandwich it between 2 other sheets. They feed the 3 sheets through a hot press at more than 100 degrees Celsius. In a minute and a half, the glue cures, and those 3 sheets of veneer become a 3-ply panel of plywood. Then they sand the panel. Plywood door facings can be made from more than 15 different species of wood, from birch and oak to maple and mahogany. At the second factory, they make the core of the door. They glue together strips of wood to form the middle, then frame them with pieces of white pine. A press pushes the core pieces together, then activates the glue not by heat as most presses do, but by microwaves. Next, they sand and calibrate the core. After the glue machine coats the core, they stick a plywood door facing on each side. They stack a few doors at a time into a cold press for a half hour until the glue dries. Then set them aside while the glue cures for another 8 hours. Next, they size the width and length to the final dimension, bevel the edges, and cut the exact height of the door. Then they inspect the door on both sides. A machine prepares the door for hinges. Then another machine cuts the hole for the knob. The finishing process takes just 70 seconds per door. One side is sanded, stained, and sealed, then sanded again and varnished. The machine then flips the door over and does the same thing to the other side. Garage doors come in many styles, colors, and materials these days. They can be made of steel, aluminum, wood, or vinyl. Whether you choose a style that's plain or paneled, smooth or textured, A sign of quality is that the garage door is lightweight, well insulated, and airtight. The typical residential garage door is made up of 4 panels. Each one begins as a sheet of either aluminum or steel, 2 metals that can tolerate harsh climates. The side that will show has a baked-on coat of polyester paint. Depending on the model, the sheet passes through rollers that imprint a texture, such as a simulated wood grain. Then it goes through a press that imprints a design. This model will have raised rectangles. Others have horizontal stripes or no design at all. After an automated machine cuts the continuous sheet to garage door widths, another machine folds over the edges. This creates 1.5 centimeter joints for attaching the panels. The polyester paint is elastic, so it simply stretches with the bending. Now on the back side of the sheets, they hot glue metal plates to reinforce the various components they'll later screw into the garage door. Parts such as the lift handles, the hinges, and the bracket for the electric opener mechanism. They also drill a hole through which they'll later inject insulation. Now they slide 2 sheets together to form a panel. They close off the ends with blocks of pine. This will prevent cold air from penetrating inside. They apply various stickers with installation, maintenance, and safety information. Then orange stick-on dots to mark the location of the metal plates into which the installer will screw the hinges and lift handles. Now they attach an aluminum bar to the long ends of each panel. This holds the panel steady during the injection process. After injection, the bars come off. They load the panels onto a carousel and begin the process of filling the hollow interior cavity with insulation. Through the hole they drilled earlier, they inject polyurethane foam, an expanding plastic insulation material that's specially designed to penetrate hard-to-access spaces. As we see in this demonstration, the polyurethane expands and becomes rigid. This creates a solid core inside the garage door. Polyurethane is one of the lightest types of insulation, so it doesn't make the garage door heavy. Here's what the inside of a panel looks like once the foam hardens. Now, workers install various components, such as the rubber weather seal on the bottom panel. This seal prevents cold and water from entering the garage under the door. Some garage door models have windows to allow in natural light. Workers first use a high-speed router to remove the rectangles where these windows will be installed. Then they insert one of several window styles available. These are double-sealed windows, 2 thermal panes with an aluminum spacer in between. The framing around the glass is available in different colors. It's made of PVC, a synthetic resin that doesn't discolor. The frame prevents water and cold air from penetrating. Workers pack the installation hardware. Then they weigh the box to ensure no part was left out. At installation time, they attach the door panels at the joints with hinges. A system of springs ensures the garage door is perfectly balanced and moves smoothly. If properly installed, you should be able to lift or lower the garage door using just 2 fingers.